Hello, dear wonderful viewers of the Entrepreneurship Journey Show. Today is another wonderful episode. I'm here for a workshop at the La Palma Royal Beach, and I took the opportunity to engage some entrepreneurs and coaches who are in the space to give us their advice that will help us as entrepreneurs to continue the journey and to see success and growth. So today we have a young man, Mr. Bismarck Ejeyeboa, an entrepreneurship coach, especially for early startups, those who are now coming into entrepreneurship. And he's here to share with us nuggets that will help upcoming entrepreneurs to avoid certain level of failure and also to do well. Kindly subscribe to the channel and share with others. So you're welcome to the show, Mr. Yeboah, and it's an honor to have you here. We'd love for you to share with us your knowledge or nuggets that you believe will help entrepreneurs, especially the startup ones, to avoid the avoidable mistakes and to be able to scale up as soon as they start.
Thank you very much for having me on your channel to share some information that I can or I have. The basic principles of business, a lot of startup entrepreneurs, especially in our context, do not sit down to take time to think about some of those things. People rush from the beginning, so long as they have an idea, they already start throwing things into the business without sitting down to actually do a proper plan, think about it, think about the business model that they are going to run, think about who their customers are, who their markets are, and understand all these elements of the business model. Because a key thing about business is making money, making profit. And if you haven't thought through that, and so long as you can have a brilliant idea, but your idea might not have a ready market, or your idea might even be, for instance, too far away from the market. So the thing is, you have to understand your business model. And the business model, for instance, if you do a typical business model canvas, it gives you a chance to think through different elements of your business. So different aspects of it. So you would have to think about your activities as a business, you think about your revenue stream, you think about your customers, you think about your partners, you think about many channels, you think about communication, you think about all these aspects. And going through this process, especially at the early stage, it gives you a much more comprehensive understanding of the different aspects of the business that you are going to create. And that is a very important thing that I think very early stage entrepreneurs do not consider. Once they have an idea, they think they can make money or they can get into the market. And then they get there and not think about all these things that I've mentioned. And at the end of the day, then they get into failure, or they get into a point where they are unable to continue. If you think about these things, you would be able to connect different aspects. So you would know, for instance, if you have to work with some partners, you would know from the beginning. If you make at some point, for instance, you invest into the shop, or you work from your home, when you're thinking about your activities and you're thinking about the resources, when you think through that, you'll be able to decide well which of these things to do, and then that will be able to help you to take the next step in your business. So that, I think, is a key thing, especially at the early stage of the business.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yeboah. So are you for the view that early startups are supposed to get coaches and mentors who help them, guide them through the journey into entrepreneurship?
It's very important, and it's not only, for instance, for entrepreneurship or in business. I think generally in life, we learn from people who have gone ahead of us to do something. And I mean, usually they say what experience is the best teacher, as they say. But I think that also the experiences of other people is a very, very important resource that we have to use. There are people who may have gone through the processes that you're going through. So these people either mentoring you or coaching you, helping you to find your way through the entrepreneurship journey is something that is very key. So as entrepreneurs, you might not even have maybe direct contact with a mentor, but if you carefully sit down to maybe even observe and follow, learn, take books on your channel. There are so many information that you can get from other entrepreneurs who are documenting their journey. If you have people who can coach you directly, I think it also helps because they are able to help you to fish out some information, to be able to tell you some things that as an early person you may not have thought about. And these people can be able to say, maybe not directly to say, do this, but they are saying, have you thought of A, B, and C? And by just prompting you to do that, you might see or explore another side of your business that you may not have thought of. So that, I think, is very important and can help you in the entrepreneurial journey.
And we would love to know, at the early startup, when coming out with their target market, what are some of the things they have to consider?
Well, if you do, for instance, you do your customer profile or customer persona, you need to understand who the customer is. You need to understand the customer's what we call the pain points. So you need to understand what are the needs of the customer, how the customer lives their lives, and how your solution or your product, for instance, suits into. So for if you are taking, let's say, the grocery shopping business, you are looking at people who are busy, people who don't have time to go to the market, and you are providing such a solution. You need to understand how do they want it, what time do they want it, what form do they want it. These are things that it makes you, gives you the ability to target the customer well and meet them at the point of their needs as they say it. So understanding the customer is quite key, and that I think at least entrepreneurs do not think about the customer, try to understand the customer. The only thing that there are people who can pay. Somebody says, oh, the middle class, they would pay actors. But even as there are different categorizations within the middle class, there are people with different needs within the middle class. So you need to, as much as possible, be able to target. Of course, all this will depend on the kind of solution that you are providing. Maybe some solutions you can target everybody in there, but there are some solutions so that you have to go deeper or directly and properly target the people who are going to benefit from that solution.
Thank you very much. And lastly, what are some of the ways early startups can adopt to raise capital for their businesses?
I mean, capital is a very interesting side of the entrepreneurial journey, and I mean, it's not a simple, there's no one way to address it. Some people have made the point that, oh, you don't need money to start a business and you can start with the idea and all that. Yeah, it is half true and also half not. In terms of reality, sometimes you need some capital to mobilize some things from the start, from the beginning. In terms of avenues to get it, there is also no straight way. I cannot say just one way. There are various ways of doing it. And in this day and age, starting lean is usually, depending, of course, again, depending on your product, starting lean is a very good way to start the entrepreneurial journey. See what resources are available that do not cost you much. You can start doing things from your room. You can start doing things from your backyard. You can start doing things online to start with. So there are avenues where you can have an internet website with Google that you don't need to pay. So there are ways with which you can have capital, just that it's no money that is coming to you. So if you have a website where you're not paying for it and it's free, it's a capital because you would have paid for it, but you now have it for free, and that's something that you can, your business can take advantage of. So from the beginning, you have to look for these avenues, and even if you calculate these, you will know that that is capital that you're getting. Then beyond that, you need to explore. There are some grants that you can get as for business incubation. There are quite a number of them, but all these things are very competitive, and so you need to position yourself. You need to prepare. You need coaches to guide you through to be able to get into some of these incubators for your business to be supported at the early stage, to properly define it, and before you can go on to where you can get, let's say, some seed capital, or you can get all this. But all these things you need to prepare and think through, and your business must make sense. If your business doesn't make sense, nobody's going to give you any money for it. So at the early stage, I think these are a few things. Perhaps you can get money for yourself if you have some savings, and all these other traditional ways of getting money. our banking system is not really that early stage friendly. So I won't advise anybody, especially as a young startup, to go into the bank, because then the interest would really kill your business. That's the unfortunate truth. Any other capital that won't kill your business, that has maybe zero or very manageable interest, you could go for it. But you also have to make sure you grow steadily and not just rise so quickly such that you cannot control the growth path and you might end up crashing at a particular point. Yeah.
And please, your last word to all entrepreneurs watching you.
Well, the final words I would say, entrepreneurship is good. It's a journey to take on. There's a lot to learn. You must to be open to learn a lot. You must be open to also collaborate a lot, because collaboration is a way that brings resources together. When you collaborate with others, you bring resources together and you reduce your costs. Again, I am repeating myself. Think through your idea well. Make sure you have a workable business model, and I think with some kind of effort and some kind of determination, you should be able to make it. Of course, networking is also good. You never know where the next help is going to come from. Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing us the honor. We are very grateful
Thanks
that you talk to us. We'll come to you some other time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for doing the listening. Kindly subscribe to the channel and share with others.